Alrighty, cool. We are going to kick things off. So, welcome everybody. My name is Callum Galloway. If I haven't met you, General Manager of iT360. We've also got Dave Wilson, our CEO, and AI enthusiast, that's for sure, on the call. He's going to be pretty much running our presentation on AI today. Really great to have everybody on board and joining. I think we'll have a few more registered. We had about 40 something coming to this one. We had a great session in person yesterday in our office. We've got another one. The organization on Friday. We are doing these every single day. There's a lot of interest about it, and I think there's a big gap in terms of understanding where people, what people think AI and automation can do for their businesses, and what people practically know and where to start as well. So I think that's primarily our purpose today, to try and bring people a little bit up to speed with what's going on in that front. Now, the development in this space is astronomical, and so even when we're saying get you guys up to speed, we're only going to really scratching the surface of what's possible. But we're going to try our best to make things applicable for your businesses and for your departments as much as we possibly can. So by using some real life demonstrations and different types of ways that AI can be implemented within your business. So that's pretty much it. A couple of things. If you are wanting to ask a question, please just jump in and do that. Just find the appropriate time to do that. We want to make this an interactive time. It's not one that we're using our admin rights and turning everyone's mics off. It's not about that. We really kind of want questions. And I'd ask everyone to be a little brave as well, because we've found in the multiple workshops we've run, when people ask a question, it's generally because 9 other people are thinking the same thing. And it's also a really great opportunity for people to learn off other people and what they're thinking about, how they're going to apply AI and automation within their business. Is often doesn't come from us, because there's unique situations to your business that apply to yourself and maybe to someone else as well. So please do that. If you want to turn your camera on, great. If you don't, that's fine. And yeah, if you do have any questions, and you're not wanting to ask them in the session, feel free to put them into the chat or the Q&A section as well. That's not a problem as well. Cool. Well, we're iT360 has been on a bit of a journey around AI and automation. It's fair to say that it's had a lot of hype. It's over the past 18, 24 months, obviously with the introduction of things like Copilot and ChatGPT specifically. It's obviously a much larger world than those two entities, much larger. And there's a lot of wonderful tools that are applicable for use right now. I think Dave's going to start talking about the context of this conversation as well, but I kind of want to reiterate some of the things that people often talk about when it comes to like cybersecurity. Often people are concerned about security when it comes to AI. We're not going to talk too much around about cybersecurity. Being a cybersecurity company, we consider that in pretty much everything we do. We're just going to talk about AI and automation, pretending that is pretty much taken care of. So we don't have to have that concern, because that's just going to block any sort of conversation and development around possibilities in this instance. Also, don't be too caught up around about budget and costs. A lot of these tools that we're going to be demonstrating today are actually quite inexpensive. And what is inexpensive? We're not talking like thousands of dollars. We're talking sometimes hundreds, sometimes tens of dollars in order for a particular subscription where it's applicable. So it's not a tool set and a world just for the enterprise world. It's really making its way down to the SMB community, which is really, really great. It's kind of democratizing brilliant technology. So we're really excited about this. So yeah. Over to you, David. We're going to kick this off.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Cal, for the introduction. I'm just dropping a Q&A chat at the moment just to say, hey, tell us about how you're using AI today, if you are at all in your personal life or in your business. I'll start chatting, but while I'm chatting, do jump into the Q&A. Would love to just get a little bit of insight in terms of who's in the room today, and are you using AI at all? Yes, once I've dabbled, or all the way through to I've tried ChatGPT, all the way through to I pay for it, all the way through to I use it on an everyday basis. Everyone in the room, yeah, it's really cool to see more than 20, 25 people now on the call. Everyone's going to be different, and some people have never even heard of ChatGPT. Some people have heard of it but never tried it. Others are using it on a day-to-day basis. And today, yeah, so in the room, do drop your answers. I'm really keen to hear, just to read them, and Cal can call out any specific things as well, as I'm trying to multitask, and present as well as read those. But so I'll kick us off. While you're doing that, please do drop a chat. The workshop objective today is really to go over two or three key things. Firstly, I do want us to help. I want to help you understand some of the various AI tools out there. And the reality is there's literally thousands of them, but I'll be demonstrating probably 5 or 6 today. I want to also help us understand why it matters to our business, and it's just my opinion. It's just an opinion on why this matters. We could certainly go into a whole lot of existential conversations about what this is going to do to the human race, and that chat, I'm sure, is being had over many a wine or whiskey. But that's not today's chat. Today is about how we can use AI in our business to make our personal life better or our business life better. I have a newborn, a 2-year-old, and a 4-year-old. Trust me, I am wondering about what their future will look like. But again, that's not today's conversation. I want us to talk about identifying pain points in our organizations, and then walk away today with some bit of an action plan on how, something we can do from today, that might help us to, so we can actually start using AI to help a business go forward. And I'm just seeing some chats. Some people have never used AI at all, which is really cool. So really cool. Thanks for letting me know. It's hopefully today you're going to be using a lot more than you ever have been. Just ChatGPT, not really using it. ChatGPT a little bit. So yeah, it's cool. Most people so far on that side of the spectrum, not really using AI too much. I'm very aware that when I will show demos today, I potentially run the risk of losing the audience, because for me, I've been using AI for good 2-3 years now, and for me, what feels normal is not normal to others. And I really want your feedback. Just rein me in if I'm going too fast, or if I say something that you didn't quite catch. I'm happy for you to say, "Can you just go over that again?" I'm happy to share it, because I want you to all take away something today, and for this to be applicable. So let's start. So Callan's actually run through this already: the security and privacy cost, and ideas. You're going to have ideas from the session. So I wanted to start off by doing a little bit of a back story, just very briefly. The reality is that AI, as Cal said, is definitely a new buzzword. It's definitely huge on the radar right now. But AI itself is not a new concept. It's been around for a long time, and the reality is we've all seen it. It's been in our lives for a long time. Our relatives already are influencing, have been for a long time, our lives. Who we listen to, what we listen to, Spotify. I mean, every day I wake up, open my Spotify, and it's created me a new playlist because it knows I play kids music at 7 in the morning. So there's a new kids music playlist for me, different than yesterday's one. At night, it gives me some gym music. It's great. I love it. AI, I'm thankful for AI. It helps me out. It influences where we drive, what we watch, who we date. AI's been around forever, but for many years. But really, the kind of core focus of today's chat is this thing called generative AI, and it's different than a lot of the AI that's been out. And 2023 really was the year of generative AI. And this graphic shows you the time to reach 100 million global users. And it's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. Google Translate came out. It took 78 months to get 100 million users. Uber came out, took 70 months, 55 months for Spotify, 30 months for Instagram, and we all thought that was amazing. ChatGPT comes out, and within 2 months, it had 100 million daily users, and that is mind-blowing. And I think it was something like November 23 or 20, something like that, or 2022, sorry. And I was using it that Christmas. I remember being on the beach in Tauranga, making poems for my wife, making songs for my friends, telling, and that was all I was using it for. I don't know what else to use it for. But since then, even an absolute avalanche has happened in the world of AI. And the quite cool thing to note, and I will cover this a lot today, is AI, generative AI, is actually what's called multimodal. And if you can understand this concept, it's one of the core concepts around Gen AI. It's not just text, although that's what a lot of people use it for, is write me an email or summarize this for me, or hey, I've got an angry customer. Can you help me write something that will, calm them down a little bit? Or hey, I received this from a friend. Can you help me respond in a correct way? Um, those kind of things are quite a day-to-day thing. But nowadays we're writing code in AI. Nowadays, AI is writing songs. Perhaps if I'd thought about it, I could have had a jingle playing while we're waiting in the lobby, and it could have been AI generated. Like that would have been possible. It would have taken all of 30 seconds had I thought about it. You can literally type, hey, I want a song for my daughter. It's her 4th birthday. Her name is Clover, and she loves fairies. Can you write a song? And 10 seconds later, a fully fledged song with lyrics and a drum beat and music is there for you to listen to. It's a tool called Suno for all the parents out there. You can drop that in the chat. That's really amazing. Generating images has absolutely been around for a long time. And also mind-blowingly videos as well. If you've not seen it, I swear we're going to be having full-on blockbuster movies in probably 5 years or less, because we're already able to create clips that look like they're being shot on the world-class cameras just in a matter of seconds. So every industry is really being a bit disrupted at the moment, and the game is changing for all of us. That's why I think this really matters. So AI has been around for a while in terms of its ability to recognize objects. This is a horse, this is a hand, etc. Obviously, guys like Tesla and so forth are identifying objects. Some of you may be doing this in your business today. I'm not too sure. It's really, the AI comes in many forms. Drake AI, interesting. Again, I was talking about that whole audio generating thing. So Drake himself has heard someone else has made a song with AI that looks and that sounds like Drake, and he himself heard that song and was like, "That is a great song. I've commented on that one. That's awesome." So AI is actually is clearly already producing world-class music. AI is producing images. Think about this in our social media, in our marketing, even in your personal life, because I think AI is great for personal life. You want to throw a dinner party, why not put an image out there as well? You see the prompt on the left there, an astronaut riding a horse is a pencil drawing. And boom, there's the drawing. A koala dunking a basketball. Boom, there it is. A selfie of the Last Supper. So AI's interpretation of Jesus holding a cell phone and all his disciples. Boom, there's the selfie. The Pope in a puffer coat, Trump in prison. I'll just actually quickly go off script a little bit. I was showing this to Callum yesterday. This is one example of an application called Leonardo. And you'll see my terrible drawing on the left, which has got some green squiggles and a blue line. And I've written down here the prompt. I want a detailed canvas of a quiet village nestled in mountains. And you see how the AI has interpreted my little 1-year-old, my 2-year-old could do better than this. And it's created this absolutely wild. And then on the other hand, you can also click real-time gen. So let's recreate. So I'll say, a bunny rabbit, and you see in real time it's creating images. Bunny rabbit with a hat and a cigar. Is that not mind blowing? I'm sorry if you're not mind blown, but it absolutely is. I can change the kids illustration tune at like the different things, make this more like a coloring book. Isn't that just wild what AI can do in the image generation? It's just one example application. Like I said, it's called Leonardo. And that's not only fun, but you can use that for business as well if you want. AI can now recognize emotions. It's being trained. There's models trained to see our emotions as humans: sadness, anger, surprising, anxious, etc. It's also multimodal. This is actually a really fun example. You look at those signs, and I think it's my human brain just immediately shuts down and goes, "What the heck's that?" I I don't know whether I'm supposed to park here or not. This example is someone taking a photo because again, AI or ChatGPT can recognize images, and you say to it, there's the prompt down there. It's Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Can I park here? Tell me in one line. The AI has done a number of things in the background in real time. It's recognized it's a parking sign. It's scraped all of the data of the words. It's then used its own logic and figured out for you and said, yes, you can park here for 1 hour starting at 4 p.m. Happy days. Thank you, AI. I'm not going to get a parking ticket. And I myself used this exact thing in Australia when I went there in March. I couldn't figure out the parking sign in Melbourne, took a photo, and it actually literally worked. And I was like, sweet, thank you. And I've since used ChatGPT all the time for various images. You can take a photo of anything, and 99 times out of 100, it's going to tell you what's in the image. Think about that in your personal life and or in your business life. How can you use images,
I've
multimodal,
deciphered
AI?
invoices, Dave, that I haven't been able to understand. Right.
Yeah, so Cal's
What?
using it for
What?
invoices.
Put
Yeah,
this
Cal,
in childlike language. Done.
yeah,
Tell me
that's right.
what
And I
this
can
is
of
really
course,
for.
yeah, I can of course demonstrate some of the stuff if you know, if you want. Another really popular thing, and I think probably one of the quickest use cases that you could take away from today, if you're on this side of I've never used ChatGPT before, I will doctor's notes. Yeah, well, the funny thing is about that. Sorry, someone's just mentioned that I have actually tested handwriting. And believe it or not, my handwriting's really bad, and it actually can pick up handwriting pretty well. In fact, some of the handwriting I've tested, I've just grabbed some random handwriting off the internet. I couldn't, with my own mind, figure out that the AI was actually better than me at deciphering some of the words, which is, I guess, expected, right? AI is very smart. One of the biggest things that I use all the time in business, and I think most of us should start using, I'll demo this today, is summarization. So example here, I'm throwing a PDF at ChatGPT saying, please summarize this document into 5 short bullet points. How many times do we get stuff thrown at us in work? A PDF from an article, an update from our industry, something like this in PDF or Word document form, something from a colleague, anything that we have to review and think about and read. How can AI help us to speed that up? Whether it be summarize it so I know the summary before I read it, I'm making a decision at that point. I won't read it because the summary didn't really interest me, or something else. It doesn't have to be summary. It could be tell me about it, tell me some detail, tell me what changed from last time. Anything around documents is absolutely incredible. And the next one is going to be similar but different. Transcripts from videos. Now, I'll say this actually broader, transcripts from anything. So right now, this is being recorded. At the end of this video that we're doing right now will be a transcript. I could take that transcript, throw it into AI and tell me, break down everything that I just said into bullet points. Tell me, summarize that entire conversation and turn it into a PowerPoint presentation or whatever. Any
Well, yeah,
words
I
that
work for a particular type of company. You can even type your your
Yep.
company's website URL and say, okay, based on this AI and automation work, what relevant applications would be relevant to my industry or my business?
Such a
It can
good call.
literally summarize that. Yeah.
Such a great call. So yeah, and that's actually probably could be a really good exercise. Now that we're thinking on the fly, we could send out the summary to the people that are on the call right now, and you could use it to muck around and take the transcript and say, turn this into a summary for my industry. I'm in the plumbing industry. How can I use AI based on this transcript? Let AI transcribe that whole thing, figure itself out, and then make it relevant to you. This is an example on the screen is actually doing the same thing, but with a YouTube video. So YouTube, bazillions of videos on there. I often have to go on there, whether it be again for work or for fun. I go there to learn. Sometimes there's an overwhelming amount of videos. Sometimes it's a news update I want to watch. Sometimes it's an industry update. If anyone who works in IT, aka me, Callum, ETN, at least there's a new product from Microsoft every 5 minutes I have to keep on top of. Rather than watching all the 1 hour long videos, I can now just click a button and have AI summarize it for me. I can demonstrate that today. And it's really, really, really cool. Come to the end of the background, it's funny. For a long time, AI has been kind of a little bit bad. This is an example of Siri, right? So Siri, I'm bleeding. Can you call me an ambulance? And then Siri interprets that and says, okay, from now on, I will call you an ambulance. And it's like Siri for a long time has been really bad, and all of a sudden out of nowhere seems ChatGPT's come out and it's just blown it out of the water. I think Siri will be improving very soon. So moving on, I sort of wanted to circle back to business. Okay, so why AI matters for your business? There's so many reasons. We could go again to the life because of AI. The tools are going to be unlocking a lot of things for a lot of people, and it's going to increase once again the competitive landscape for sure. But what's about just today? What's something we can walk away with today? Well, the reality is something that we're seeing in our business, something I'll see in every single person or business that's using AI right now. Kind of 4 or 5 key things. So number one is going to be a mass amount of saving of time. For example, transforming a 4-hour task into a 15-minute process. So who doesn't want that? I certainly do. Cal and I laugh in just amazement all the time as we go, man, that used to take us half a day to do that. And we just figured it out how we can do it in 10 minutes now. It's just wild how much AI can help them. If you build the muscle, you get better and better. And as you start thinking of new ways of using AI, it really can be a time saver. And who doesn't want that? Reducing errors. There's so many examples of how we can cut errors, for example, through up to 90% through automation. Empowering staff. So some people don't actually like doing manual data entry, for example, or they'll do it because they're paid to do it. It's fine. But if AI automation could help, they would actually prefer that. And that person's very likely knows the business and the customers extremely well, and probably would be much better suited doing a different task.
Well,
And of
we had that
course,
example recently, Dave, didn't we? Where one of our customers talked about how 3 people within their organization are doing this process every
yeah,
single day, and they actually didn't like it. They're like, we want to do something else, and so we've gone ahead, automated that component of their roles, and now they've pretty much got 3 full-time staff that are redeployed into different areas, which is absolutely crazy stuff we couldn't do
yeah,
like 12 months ago.
100%. It's right. So not only is it stuff that for that business, a 40-employee company, it's a small business. They don't have unlimited funds. No one's got unlimited funds. That the reality of changing that in the past would have been absolutely, so hard. Retraining, hiring new people, all that sort of stuff. The technology wasn't there, or if they wanted to do it, it would have been a huge bill at the end, like massive, massive bill. Something that you just can't swallow. So AI has unlocked the ability for the business to make the most of that. And of course, something that matters to all of us, of course, is lowering costs in business is certainly a thing which is obviously going to help us to boost profits. A bit overwhelming slide, but this is not to read necessarily. It's just demonstrating that everyone has no end of tasks to do. You know, we're all writing job descriptions if we're a business owner, a business leader, a department head. We're proofreading. We're writing project updates. We're analyzing customer feedback, trying to find relevant information across multiple documents, translation, converting messy spreadsheets, writing product codes for an e-commerce, writing SOPs, creating PowerPoint presentations, summarization, generating social media, creating agendas for our staff meetings and so forth. There's just so many things to do, and every one of those things you could have AI help you with. It doesn't necessarily replace it. Although it could, but it could help immensely with every one of those things. And I could talk for an entire day on all those things and drop a message in the chat if you want me to for you, because we can talk another time. But I'm not going to go through every example today, but I'll probably go through a couple. So next, I want to go through some of the actual tools, okay, and some workflow examples, and we'll apply it to business. So firstly, I guess I'll call out here, I don't know if everyone's picked it up or not, but that photo on the right-hand side, you might think it was actually a photo of, you know, some Unsplash website or something like that, and we got it from, you know, an online store. But no, I didn't. That image right there is actually AI generated, believe it or not. It was actually made right here inside of this presentation software that I'm using right now. I'll just use this as a bit of a demo. I'll interject here. Literally, you can click create image, and with this little prompt, it generated 3 images, and I happened to just pick that one. So it's a bit wild, right? That we can barely even tell what's real and what's not anymore. AI has become so good at generating images. And here's just a quick example. I personally cannot tell that's AI generated. So one thing we do in business all the time is we generate presentations. And there's a number of presentations we might create, but I'll just use an example today of kind of creating an all-staff meeting. And I'll walk you through an example. In fact, I'll walk through a couple of examples here. Firstly, you know, I gave you that example before of the YouTube video. So we could, of course, start with a YouTube video. We could automate a transcript from that video, and I could engage with ChatGPT to turn it into a presentation. And I could also create a presentation in a tool called Gamma. So Gamma is the tool that I'm using right now. So if I was to just go YouTube, and I'm just going to pick like, I'm just going to type, oh no, there we go, 40 science experiments, just a random video. And so down here on the right-hand side is this little transcript plugin that I've actually added now with a there's actually an add-on called transcript and summary. And if you're interested in that, again, we'll drop that. Callum may or may not know that one, but we can drop that in the link. I'm going to try and actually pick a different thing because I don't think that particular video I just showed had any audio. So what if I just went to YouTube, and I'm going to pick a random one, the history of New Zealand. We're all New Zealanders. All right, so there's a 21-minute video, history of New Zealand. Let's go. I'm going to click the button summarize. Now, what this does, it drops another tab open, and seems to always use, I need to click it twice for some reason. I think the first time it just logs into ChatGPT. And what happens is, you see this without me clicking or typing anything? It actually just dropped that entire transcript, and it said summarize the following with 5 bullet points. So if I scroll down, this is an example of AI, of ChatGPT working like absolute rapid pace, right? So I've got this video. I was umming and ahhing, did I want to watch it? I clicked one button, it dropped into ChatGPT, and before my very eyes, I now have a very brief summary. But I talked about before how this large language model, how ChatGPT is very interactive, very smart. So I can start to say, imagine if this was an industry update from your industry. And
Excuse me,
just
Dave.
yeah, of course.
Adrian here. Sorry, I've just got the boss walked in and I just sorted out something. But how did you get to the point of having that button to press to get the transcript?
Yeah, there's actually a chat. If you type Chat GPT, YouTube Chrome plugin, I think it is.
Oh, it's just a
Literally,
plugin.
I can send it to you.
Yep.
There's literally a plugin. This one
Cool.
here, ChatGPT and YouTube Summary. It's amazing. You just literally click Add to Brave or add to Chrome, and then you refresh your screen, and it's there. It's wildly cool. It's just so imagine
Cool.
you've got an industry update, an HR update. You've got some civil engineering or whatever industry we're in. We're wanting to watch videos, or even our personal lives, guys. This is not just for work. Within one click, I've now got the prompt, I've got the transcript, I've got the summary.
Cool.
Let's dive in a little bit further. And I might say, I'm interested in this topic. Now I start chatting with ChatGPT. I'm interested to learn more. I could type about, and I say paste in that, right? It's going to pick the fact that and look at in real time, ChatGPT is typing for me a lot more information about that topic. So, and it's not just a little bit, it's giving me loads of information I can now chat with. So imagine if I was studying, imagine if I was trying to learn a concept, imagine the boss has given us something or we are the boss and we're trying to learn something new in our business, how powerful this tool can be for so many reasons, whether it be learning, education, summary, etc. I'll take it one step further now, and I'll use this tool to generate something new for me. I'll say, turn this, I want to teach. So one of the things about ChatGPT, if you're dabbling on it, there's actually this little acronym I'll type out real quick. It's RICE Q. RICE Q stands for role, instruction. I'm going to type it out because I'm going to get it wrong. C is context. E is examples, and Q is questions. So it's a really interesting framework you can use. I can drop that in RICE Q. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and say, I'm going to try and create, it's really important how you talk to AI. You can throw like really basic summary questions at it. But all I'm trying to say there is the more you can give it its role, the instruction, the context, examples, and questions, the better output you get. You've all heard that saying, crap in, crap out. Most of the time it's replaced the word crap with something different. And it's the same with AI, right? You throw something bad at AI and you probably get something half baked back. But you give it context, like Callum said earlier, give it context. For my business, I'm in plumbing. I need help with this specific context. You're going to get a better example. So I'll say, I am presenting this to my staff. Turn it into a PowerPoint for me. Now, it's going to take everything that it's just seen. We're now transforming a video into a slide deck. And again, I'm using this as an example, but the mind can boggle. I hope your mind goes, what could I use this for? Because it's what I've now done is I'm now using the AI not just to summarize, but I'm also turning it into something new. So I'm saying, create me a slide deck. Cool. And I could now manually go into PowerPoint and build those out, right? I could do that. It's certainly faster than me thinking about this from scratch, but there's an even better way to do it again. And this is part of back to my demo of tools. There's other tools out there, and I'm going to demo one today called Gamma, which is the one I'm actually using. And this has an amazing feature built into it. And there's this Create with AI tab. And there's sort of three things you can click. You can import a file. So I could import, let's say you've got an existing document presentation, you can import it. You generate just by a one-line prompt, or you can paste in text. So I'm going to click paste in text. And I'm going to paste in the text that I just generated from ChatGPT, right? So I've jumped in from one AI tool and jumped into another. That makes sense, I believe, following on that. 3 steps, YouTube video, transcript, ask ChatGPT to create a PowerPoint, copy, paste into here. So far, so good. This little slide page simply tells me, do you want to generate text? How brief do you want it? Detailed, brief, medium? And who's the audience? I'm writing for New Zealanders that want a general understanding and the tone. And once that's all sorted, I literally click continue. I then pick a theme. Let's say I like this theme right here. I then click generate. And before your eyes, you sort of sit back and your mind sort of blows, because before your eyes, the system, the AI, is generating not just the content, but the images, the layouts, everything for me. And what would have taken me a day, I talked about that idea of saving you 4 hours down to 15 minutes. Well, here's a great example. I'm sure none of us have had this exact scenario before with the New Zealand history, but I'm sure you've had other scenarios. The thing that I need to point out is every single thing on this presentation has been generated by AI, including this thing on the left. Look at that. It's actually not real. That was generated by AI. These images are generated by AI. That drawing on the left is not a real. It's not like it's gone to the internet and grabbed it. It's AI. Everything has been created in a matter of seconds. And this is something I could actually take to my classroom, to my friend, to my staff, whatever. So trade in your mind, trade this out and go, instead of creating, let's try a different example. Instead of creating a a you know a YouTube video, I'm gonna ask all my staff, and I'm gonna say, I want you to please come up with some content for our next all staff meeting. So as an example, I just grabbed some basic examples, right? So a little bit of text from the operations department, human resources, IT, sales, marketing. And let's pretend like I'm putting together a slide deck. We could actually just gather all this information from our staff. They've all said to me, hey, we've streamlined our inventory process. We've done this. And let's pretend like I'm the owner and I'm trying to pull this all together for a really nice staff meeting. Well, I paste it all in. Let's see. In fact, what happens? Let's see what happens. I've got no idea. This is the first time I've run this. Let's say we, as a company, have our theme is red, like this. Let's see. And your fingers crossed, and you just go, "What's AI going to do with that?" I genuinely don't know. I've literally made up random things that could be like a all staff meeting, and here we go. It's decided to give it a title: operations, human resources, IT. Here we go. So sales growth, cool. So now I'm getting an example presentation pulled together that could be good enough for me to present to my staff. And again, you can think about this from any perspective. Imagine it being a sales meeting. Imagine it be an education meeting. We're in IT, sometimes we need to teach our customers some complex subjects. We can use AI to help with that. That's the first demo that I wanted to go through. Number two is ChatGPT instead of Excel. So kind of if your 101 AI is using ChatGPT, help me do this, let me do this, that's great. So we've got to walk before we run. So for those of you that haven't even tried ChatGPT, that's absolutely cool. I'm glad you're on the call. I'd really encourage you to start using it. The next step, the next level again, is actually to add ChatGPT to Excel. So you can do that with plugins. I've got a Google Sheet here. It's not actually Excel, but it's the exact same. I'm just doing this for the demo purposes, but the exact same is possible in Google Sheet as well. And where you have Google Sheet, you've got this little add-on. You can actually add in a plugin called GPT for Sheets or GPT for Excel. And it lets you do that whole prompting thing, but inside of Excel. So down here, I'm going to write a prompt. I'm going to say, I'll just write prompt, summarize the key items in this department feedback. I don't know, just an example. So now you got this, you go equals, and you normally going to go equals sum, equals average, equals whatever, you can actually now type equals GPT. That's a new thing. There we go. And you go, the first thing is you click the prompt and you put in the cell. So in this, my example, it's C2, do a comma, and I go A2, and it goes away, excuse me. And there we go, done. So summarize the key items, and there's the AI right there. So it has tried to summarize that. And if you scroll, if you just literally, let me go to this other one. I can now, for example, let's pretend like I had 20, I can use AI to do this. Generate, say I'm a plumbing business. Generate 20 pieces of example feedback from customers, both negative and positive. Give me name, feedback, and score out of 5. Cool. Some examples I've given there, a very specific thing. And this is actually quite a good little lesson because I'm seeing that ChatGPT is given it to me in a particular format here. So a bit of a lesson for you. Again, if you're new to using AI, you might sit there and go, oh, this is really helpful. Very cool. I'm going to go copy. I'm going to go name, feedback, score. Sarah. Let's go back and forth and paste it, right? That's maybe one way of doing this. But no, there's a better way. You could say, actually, give me this data in a table format. And without having to do all that copying and pasting, it just changes it for you. So stuff copying and pasting, just ask it to give it to you in the format that you want it. And I love that about AI, where, oh, I've got a question about developers. Yeah, I'll show you developers. There's actually some incredible tools for developers. I can go over that soon. In fact, a little example for you is this one called Cursor, which is a visual code looking tool with an AI chat function on the right hand side. It's incredible. I don't know how to write a line of code to save myself, but I've written thousands of lines of code since using that tool. I can help you with that separately. And so where was I? We're at ChatGPT creating a table of feedback. So I firstly had a list. I asked GPT to actually give it to me in a table, and it did. Now I can simply copy and paste, and voila, I've now got this example feedback. Now, let's pretend like this is real feedback for my business. What do I want from this? I want to know what are the key items, right? So I'm going to say, I would normally read through all this, or I'd ask a staff member to read through all this. And we can use AI potentially to help with this. So again, using AI inside of Google or inside of Microsoft Excel, I might be able to go. My prompt would be something like this, where I've got this is example feedback for my plumbing company. Review and extract the important items of the feedback. And actually what it's done, see, AI sometimes can misinterpret you, right? It's actually written a response back to Sarah, and that might be something we want. So it's actually gone, thank you for your feedback, Sarah. We're thrilled that you had a fantastic experience, because Sarah has given us absolutely fantastic service. So as a business owner, I'm actually now not only getting an example back from the AI, I'm actually getting an example sort of response. Imagine if we had a system where our customers are giving us Google reviews or giving us feedback, and you wanted an automated message back to them just to thank them. And maybe the rule was, if it's a 4 or a 5, thank them. If it's a 2 or a 3, thank them as well, but make sure that you also post that off to the internal team to review. And just like Excel, we can click and drag en masse. There's every single, there we go. Thanks for your feedback, blah, 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 blah. Dave, very professional, etc. Everything is, plumber has arrived late, we're working, like everything has just gone off to AI in real time. And with a bit more effort and a bit more refinement, I can make that a lot better. But you can see how what that's just done, it's mimicked what I've just done, but it's done it 20 times in about a matter of 3 seconds. So rather than me going copy, paste, ChatGPT, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, done it right there inside of Excel. You can imagine the use cases are very, very fast and could be around, you could do it for personal life. You could have a birthday list with all your friends and you want to write them a birthday card or Christmas card. Write me 15 Christmas cards. Write me, feedback from my customers. Research something. I've got like customer name and industry. The prompt could be research this industry and give me 5 reasons why they need my services. Boom, copy, paste, down. It's going to give you such great insights in very, very, very fast way. So I love GPT for Excel. Document process automation is very, very important, and it's a it's a huge thing, and it's not necessarily a new thing either. It's been around for a while. Some of you may already be using it in your businesses. There's tools like Ferret and Abby and other things that have been around for a long time doing document process automation. But AI allows us to do it in different ways than we had before. Firstly, the cost has come way down. You're now able to get document process automation, rolled out. It's a lot cheaper, but also more flexible. So we're not just talking invoices or purchase orders. We can talk about any document at all. So some examples that have been thrown at me over the last little while of workshops, definitely purchase orders, definitely invoices. We've had healthcare that does work in prisons where they have handwritten notes. So rather than right now, the current process is take handwritten notes, scan it to Sally and the admin team. Sally takes that and types it into their system. Takes Sally half a day to process 3 of the stack of that. That's her half a day every month she's got to spend on that. What about job sheets? So we've got 70 guys on the road that are in diggers and trucks. They do job sheets. Those job sheets go back. What about health and safety forms? What about incident reports? What about anything that's paper forms, digital forms, PDF forms, anything at all could be processed. And every company could have a set of documents which you need to go through some sort of system. The system could be it's emailed somewhere, or it's scanned somewhere, or it's it's whatever, it's scanned or emailed most likely. Then it's likely processed by a human. But the question is, what if it could be processed by AI? And what if we don't trust the AI? Well, we can trust the AI. We can also validate the AI. And then after validation, it gets sent off. So as an example, I've got this little system which I developed for a customer. And what it is, it's a relatively simple interface, but it's a custom interface where you've got a basic flow. And I'm following the flow. And I'll zoom in just a little bit so you can
Whilst
see.
Dave is talking about this, I think it's probably it's a good idea for I don't know. I find it helpful if you put your own situation into this particular workflow.
Yeah.
So imagine it's for your own invoices or your own purchase orders. It starts to become a little bit more real. Otherwise, you end up just watching everyone else use AI rather than just kind of clicking your brain into gear. Because a lot of this can be quite whoa, a little bit overwhelming sometimes. Try and put your own business and your own process and your own logos into what you're seeing. And it kind of helps you envision how you can use it a little bit better. Yeah.
100%. Great call. What this really, if you think about it, was, so if you've ever processed, or one of your team ever processed an invoice, you've got to think to yourself, how do we do that? Or purchase order. Well, right now, the process could be I take the purchase order, I copy the code, I flick to my other system, I paste the code, I copy the company's name, I look them up in the system, I copy, paste, I double check to make sure that the quantities are correct. Sometimes we have EDI and other things like that, but sometimes we get physical PDFs like this still. And so this customer did have them, and they came in droves, right? 50 a day, 60, 100 a day, whatever the number is. That's a lot of processing. And I've got a little email inbox here to simulate a process. So down here, I've got an example process. I've got an email that I'm going to send. Okay, I'm going to grab an example purchase order. Let's call it this one. This one, whatever. Plumbing World. Let's just go drag it into my inbox. I'm going to type it to my purchase order automation email, and I'm going to click send. Right, that's it. Now, in the real world, I wouldn't even need to do that at all. I'd probably have some automatic forwarding system. But that example is, it's a real world example where you get a purchase order and you either forward it on, or it could automatically forward it on. And this example here is just me showing you the sort of back end example. Don't get too caught up in all this. This is basically a process running in the back end. And there's going to be two things that happen. Firstly, I should get an email when this is done. Secondly, I should refresh the screen and I should see 2 orders in here, not just 1. I can see that this is running through a process, and this is just a step by step. You can imagine anything that follows a process. This is just following a process. And firstly, I saw that email just come in. So there it is. So we can see that email just came in. Plumbing World, there it is. We can see that it's extracted the Plumbing World. This Plumbing World code is a customer address. There's no email because it's come from me. I asked for it. There's the order number. Great. So that's helpful, right? That's showing you AI has extracted all that information. Not only that, it's now shown up in my system. I refresh my screen. Imagine I'm a staff member. I refresh my screen and boom, here's my order. My old process was, I check my inbox. Now my new process is I just refresh this. Here it is. Not only that extracted that information, it's also extracted all this information. On the right-hand side, I'm seeing the buyer's address, the email, the order number. Every line item has been extracted. I can see now the stock in my warehouse. Everything is there, line by line by line. AI has extracted all this information and it's put it into a system for me. Now my job is to quickly eye over it and review it to make sure that AI has done its right job. I click approve. And when I click approve, that fires into my system. So I've got a AI assisted workflow. I could probably skip this validation step if I wanted to, but I like the ability to double check the AI's work before it goes in. But if it goes in wrong, I'm at risk of sending an order to the wrong address or something like that. So this is a wonderful example for this customer where you go, this is effectively a queue of my orders today. I process, I read, I click approve, done. Imagine it's been invoice from ABC, I read it, information extracted, I click approve, and then I refresh 0 and the invoice has been added to draft within 1 split second. So you can imagine what you could do with document process automation. Again, we're adding AI, we're adding custom interfaces like this. These things were not possible at relatively low cost as they were before. Nowadays they are. So what other documents do you think you could do? Again, I mentioned this idea, incident reports, from paper-based forms of manual inputting to digitally capture, automatic categorization, automatic alerts and trend analysis, safety inspections, job completion forms, equipment inspections, employee onboarding, quality inspection reports. So many ideas. I'd love you to start thinking and asking your team, where do we do manual checks with paper, with forms, with, we print things, we scan things. Every time you scan something, maybe ask yourself, could this maybe be this maybe be AI enhanced, especially if it's a high volume item.
Hey, Dave, quick one.
Hey, yes, of course.
Just in the chat, we've got a couple of comments around. So this example would only apply to roughly 20% of New Zealand, not on MYOB or Xero, which currently don't have invoice automation. So obviously we use Xero internally, but we also use AI to overlay that as well. Do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, it's a good question. At the end of the day, Actually, it's a great question. The reality is, the customer that I'm talking about that I built this for also doesn't use MYOB or Zero. In fact, they got a system called Cybers, which doesn't even have an API. So the reality is that we had to build effectively an AI bot, which literally clicks the application. So there is multiple levels of data input. Kind of easiest and best would be AI, or sorry, would be AP, what's called API, which is effectively the computer talking to the computer with code. A lot of applications like Zero API, Zero MYOB, and many others have an API. And you should ask yourself the question, does my application have the API? If you don't know the answer, ask whoever's supplying it. Does this application have an API? API. That's effectively your ability to talk to that application with code rather than through the interface, right? And if it can do it through code, it means another system like the one I've just shown you, which has code in the back end, can send that code to your code, and it just enters it immediately through code. If it doesn't have an API, there's still ways of getting around that. I can, again, at risk of losing the audience, there's a tool called RPA, which stands for Robotics Process Automation. And that's where you can actually create, for tools that don't have an API, you can create robotics where the literal mouse is clicking around the application. And it's very, very intelligent. It can actually understand what the screen is, and it literally can copy paste information. It can receive data in many different ways, and then it inputs it in. So that's kind of your far extreme. And there's a couple of steps in the middle as well. In summary, tell me the application name. I can do some research in mine if I don't know the answer right off. Does it have API? Yes. If it doesn't, there is high likelihood there's other ways of still getting in your data in. But remember that the process flow was effectively email in, extraction, and validation. The last step was throw the data into your system. So it's kind of, this is the step you're talking about here. Oh, if we don't have Zero MYOB, does it still work? And the answer is it likely still would. There are many applications that have an API. And of course, there are a few that don't, but more often than not, tools these days do. Hopefully that helps answer the question.
Nice. Okay, yeah, we'll do the next
so
one.
yeah, there we go. So your application does have an API. So the high likelihood is then the key is we need to get the API documentation, which we'll get off the website. And then we need some kind of API key, just like a key to your house. We need a key to the application to allow it to put data in. And then once you've got that, you've got an immense amount of power that you've never had before. The API allows you to tap into the back end to put data in and get data out at rapid pace. So it really unlocks incredible opportunities, even far beyond the ones we talked about today. So I'd love to dig into that deeper. Another amazing scenario I wanted to show you today was an example of workflow automation around content generation. So a lot of us, again, create content, or maybe we're in social media, or maybe we need to make social media for our businesses, whether that be text or images. So I just wanted to show you an example, quite incredible example. And again, just stay with me here for example. There are many reasons why we want to use content generation. Let's pretend like we're a civil engineering company and we want to stay on top of the updates that come out, the government announcements, industry news. This is time consuming. We also maybe we want to use AI to automatically pull relevant media articles, summarize it, and put it into a digestible format for either internal briefings or external sharing on social media. Or maybe we want to, simply create industry insights or thought leadership around our business. So creating in-depth reports or blog posts, creating newsletters for SEO on our website. We obviously want to create new articles. We could do some incredible things with AI, generating social media content, client reviews, stakeholder reports. So why not be able to pull data from various our sources, pull it all together, and generate some sort of a report. AI is not a magic bullet. Can't just do it. I talked about the idea before, the role instruction, the C context, the E example. In order to get an output that actually makes sense, you're going to have to figure out, we have to do some playing around. The example part could be really good. So obviously take an example report of what I've done before. That would teach AI what good looks like, and then, go from there. But an example I want to show you is going into a system that, again, don't get overwhelmed by the screen you're seeing, but this effectively is a flow, okay? My goal here is to take an article from the New Zealand Herald, and I saw this article, classic Kiwi economic recovery on its way, and why it's not good enough. Let's pretend like I want to create some social media content around this article. I put this article into this first little bubble, and then I click this button, run. What this is doing is, I'll just explain it very simply. You can see 5 lines here. This is simply throwing that article through a factory, call it an AI factory, and the AI is doing a number of steps. Each of these steps represents an automation. It's an automation that I've built for myself, and I could also build for you. Obviously, you'd want your own version of it, and you'd also want your own flavor, your own particular thing. But every single bubble is effectively another step. This blue one, the first one, says get the whole Herald information, extract it. This one reads that and says summarize it in 5 key bullet points. Then each of these 5 goes away and generates me social media content. Each one of them, this perplexity one, researches the topic and enriches the data. This one creates a tweet, Facebook post, and this one throws it into a table so I can see it later. I didn't show the table before. You just have to trust me that this table was empty a second ago, and that this has now generated in real time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Instagram posts, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Facebook posts. There's 5 there, and on the Twitter there is 5. I click on here and I open it up. As an example, we can see New Zealand economic rebound is on the horizon. In a recent published forecast, Westpac economists, blah, blah, blah. You can see that with emojis, with your hashtags, with a thoughtful question, we've actually created 5 pieces of content for Facebook and 5 tweets. You obviously know tweets are short form. Based on that input, all within a matter of about 1 minute. You might say, that's awesome. Or you might say, not relevant to me. But not too sure what you're currently doing with social media, whether or not this would be relevant to you. There's also an approve and post button up here, because I don't actually want this to go on Facebook without my approval. I can make adjustments before I click approve and post, which only after that it actually goes to Facebook.
So can be quite helpful for informing customers of any sort of industry news. I'm thinking about like particular. Well, we've got one customer that works in the mental health space, and they want to be able to comment.
While you're talking, I'll follow another. Yeah.
Yeah. They might want to be able to comment and share on any article that comes out about like suicide rates or the state of mental health within New Zealand. They want to be able to take a Herald comment or something from stuff.com and share that and be able to comment and be able to be active in the community with publications that are coming out. Like the recent one it's on, I think it's front page of the Herald right now that Mike King was involved in. I'm sure they'd be wanting to share that.
I've just thrown it through the factory right now. Well, watch it happen. Yeah, you keep going.
Yeah.
So you can see that it's got 5 articles, and I just threw the Mike King article through the factory. You can see it's going to run through now.
Yeah.
And
But I guess if I was putting customers' hats on as well, that are new to this technology, I'd be thinking about tone of voice. I'd be wanting it to, I don't want it to
100%.
sound like just a generic AI bot. It does need to sound like my organization, like the people within our organization, because that's often the differentiating point of our
Yes.
of our company. It's about our people. It's the way we talk. It's how we communicate. All of those sort of things can be a part of the text prompting in order to make sure it does sound like yourselves. It does reflect the kind of commentary that you would share. A lot of these prompts and social media posts that you're seeing right now can be quite generic because we're deliberately trying to make them generic. Once you start making it a little bit more advanced in terms of what it's supposed to sound like, or even referencing your own website to see what articles you've ever written about, or whatever blogs you've ever written about beforehand. It can actually read that in real time, scrape that information, scrape that tone of voice, and be able to sound like that, which is quite incredible.
100%. Is alcohol a safety net or a slippery slope? Recent discussions, blah, 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 blah. It's literally created 5 pieces of content. Funding debate alert. So again, it's gone to the article, the one that Callum was referenced. It's the first prompt over here was the prompt in the background. I can show you the prompt.
And this is what I was
Quite
talking
a long
about,
prompt.
the fact that you can spend some time really adjusting that and making it sound like yourself.
Your task is to act as a blog summarization agent. You will receive a full text of a blog post. After analyzing it, generate 5 separate summaries, each focusing on a different key topic from the article. And it actually goes on and on and on. There's a very, very long one. Here's my example for Rice Q. Their role, you are acting as this. Your instruction, you will receive the context. You will receive this. And after receiving this, do this. Is my instruction and my context. Examples. Here's some examples. Each of those 5 summaries gets split 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Research, create, research, create, research, create. And the outcome is this. Within a matter of a minute, I've now got my 100-word summary, and then my actual Facebook post. Alcohol is a solution. Mental health advocate Mike King stirred debate with his controversial views on alcohol use with mental health management. So incredible opportunity to create content, whether it be internal, external. Everything can be AI assisted in terms of generated. It can, as Cal was saying, even off the bat, based on my prompting, it does already sound good to me. We've added little emojis, added a thoughtful question at the end of every single post. Really, really awesome for many, many examples. The example I've given you is taking it from a news article, but you could take it from anything at all. It could be a form, you type out a form. You could have written something yourself and say, I want to, let's say you've created a long form post on your own website. You've already got a blog. It's already 1,000 words. You've done a great job. People love it. Why can't you put your own blog through that, and it creates 5 pieces of social media off your own blog? So you're just what's called repurposing now. Maybe you've already got a lot of content you've already created, and you just want to enhance that. You know what I mean? So there's so many use cases.
Bring people back to your website for traffic and SSO
100%.
purposes. Google
You can see how much
rankings, all of
time
those sort
that
of
could
things.
save. I won't go over it today because I know time is not unlimited today, and we're nearly out. Document generation is another thing. So do the exact same thing I just shown you, but instead of creating a social media post, it could create actual documents, Word documents, PDFs. Imagine any HR documents or anything like that.
Yeah.
Not just quickly skim over this one, automated AI taking it. Again, a very, very low-hanging fruit is, and I see someone's already using it today. We've got Firefly in the room. Firefly AI is one of the example AI note-taking systems out there. Super Normal, Otter, Teams Premium. The idea is you add a tool to your meeting. It takes the notes for you, and within minutes you get an AI summary and action points. saves a lot of time, and it saves that kind of like, hey, I forgot what we talked about, or there's no action taking place because no one took notes. All those scenarios, which I think happen a lot in business, can be assisted with the AI now. So we can clearly see there's a huge and exciting potential in AI for our business, but I think the challenge for all of us, everyone I talk to, I think agrees, yeah, AI is incredible, but how do I actually make it, relevant to us? How do I unlock AI and outside of our organization? And so there's sort of three ways that I think about AI, and I've started to think about AI. Number one is that it expands our thinking. I've shown you today ChatGPT as an example, right? This one tool alone you could use from today to help expand your thinking. Why not ask it, hey, I've got a challenge with my staff member. How do I handle this situation? I want to get into this new industry. Tell me 5 things about it that I don't know about. I could go on a bit deeper onto this, but I'm again not going to, based on time. Expanding our thinking. Often as managers and leaders, we have lots of ideas, lots of thoughts, lots of challenges. You can actually use AI as a thinking buddy. Ask it questions, get some responses back, and you'll be surprised how it kind of gives you new ideas, new perspectives, and it starts to really just assist you with your thinking. Management efficiency. So speeding up reporting, taking data in from various systems that I've got, whether it be feedback from customers, whether it be timesheets, whether it be financial information, other information, and speed up the ability to consolidate and report back. Incredible use cases around that. And even if you found one example to save you 4 hours in a week, like that's incredible saving of time. And then there's task efficiency. So there is an unlimited amount of jobs in our business that we're doing all the time. I just showed you a bunch of examples earlier. What repetitive tasks could be automated or enhanced with AI? Whether it be that document creation, whether it be I'm creating an agenda for an offsite management meeting, whether it be I need help with the groceries this Sunday, or I will need a recipe for a dinner party. Could be anything. Like you could just literally say to it, I'm throwing a dinner party for 8. Help me prepare. And literally just ask it. It's just going to start telling me some things. Oh yeah, set the mood, plan the menu, some appetizer examples, entrees, main courses. It's like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, I forgot about the appetizers. That's a great idea. Cheese board, awesome. Like, I don't know, the day before prep, the day of the schedule, telling me it's just running my life for me now. Thank you for all your awesome ideas. And say, the guest asked for chocolate cake. I don't know. That's just the right. Chocolate cake's a great club pleaser, right? Here's the ingredients and the ganache frosting. Here's the instructions. Just, AI is a wonderful friend and helper in all life. So definitely start using it.
Yeah, I'd say at this point, Dave, that hopefully people will go away encouraged and wanting to use it in their own lives in a new way. There's obviously some stuff that can be a little bit more advanced as well, and is kind of outside their realm and potentially outside their desired focus as well. And that's where we're here to help too. Obviously, we're engaged with lots of organizations right now building out automation that might require some sort of large language model or some sort of AI tool, which we have the expertise in as well because we've spent the time. We're more than happy to come alongside organizations and work with people on an idea. That's pretty much how we've gotten started with all of our AI and automation work. It starts with one thing that people are overdoing, or it's just a complicated process. There's too much time wasted. It costs too much money, or people are just annoyed because they rock up to work and do the same boring task each day, which they don't enjoy, and they want to do something else. Talk to us about that one thing, and then we can start building that out.
Totally.
It is quite because of the way it's historically been talked about, maybe at an enterprise level, often those things can be like, oh, it's probably going to cost $20,000 to automate a job that takes me 5 minutes a day. It's not like that anymore. Some things might take 3 hours to set up, and it might be $10 a month. Something in that world which ends up saving 5 hours of time every month. That is an incredible return on investment. Why would you not want to do it?
Yeah.
Especially when it reduces mistakes and actually gives people will to live at work because they're not doing those sort of mundane, repetitive tasks anymore. So I'd encourage everyone in this meeting to just be thinking about one thing that they can engage with, both personally, but also in an advanced setting. That's actually this. If we solve this one particular process with automation or AI, then we can really save some time or money, or get some enthusiasm back from particular staff members that are stuck in that sort of drudgery work as well, because we all do it. So yeah. Just something for us that we'll be thinking
That's
about.
awesome. Yeah, thanks, Cal. I guess I'll just leave you one more example before we wrap up. Example use case, right, for recruitment. A lot of us having to recruit people. So what's the current process, right? I post a job. Well, firstly, I could actually have AI help me with that job review, job description. Post a job. I then get 100 people, applying for that job. Let's pretend like for this job, I have to have them to speak Mandarin, or another example, they need to be qualified with a specific degree. There are times that we had people that apply for a job without reading it properly, and they don't actually have the qualifications we need. They aren't certified for this. Why can't I have AI just read every single CV and tell me, filter out anybody that's not XYZ? So out of 100, it goes down to say 20. Now I only have to read 20 because AI has told me the 80 don't actually meet it already. What about the candidate communication, skills assessments, interviewing, scheduling? There's so many examples. Then you've got the document process automation example I shared. I'd really encourage, as Cal said, start thinking about this. We're keen to have a dear session with you, each of you that are interested. We're happy to book another call. Or Callum could talk about the details around that, if there's any costs involved and all that. But just as first of it, one-on-one with you and your team, we can start diving deeper into specific business challenges on your end and coming up with the ideas, our feasibility, and we can start piloting projects. As an example, in our accounts team, we're eating our own dog food, right? I've already saved my accounts admin 2 full working days every month, just in the last month. Just finding two examples of things that took her 8 hours to do two jobs, automated both of them. She's actually grateful for it because she didn't like doing those jobs. It was a lot of clicking. And there's just so many opportunities if you've got an open mind. So I really want to sort of wrap it up and just say, yeah, Yoda, you must unlearn what you've learned. In many ways in business, we're doing things because it's the way we've always done it. AI has actually brought a new revolution, a new way of doing things. And in many ways, we have to challenge ourselves and our teams to unlearn a few of those things, embrace this new technology, and move forward with it. And definitely don't run before you walk. Just try small things, get some quick ones under your belt. And I think just like anything else, it snowballs and becomes greater and greater. But let's just think of one thing. What's one thing you can do from today? And if we can help, we would be more than willing to help. So yeah, thanks so much for today. That's our hour and a half. I really appreciate your time. I'll stop sharing now, and I'm happy to stick around a bit longer if anyone's got questions or wants to jump on the mic or anything. Otherwise,
that's right.
Feel free to jump off.
So thanks heaps, Dave. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks for our Spark customers too, and some of the Spark team that have joined too. We'll make the recording available, I believe. So we'll get that up online. We'll share that shortly. we'll be sending a feedback form. We'd love to get your feedback on the survey, on the presentation, yeah, hear back any sort of feedback that make this better for other people as well. If anyone wants to stick around and ask some questions, chuck your mic on, chuck your video on, and we can just have a bit of a chat. We've got till about 12:30. So apart from that, au revoir.